Welcome to the EBIT information sessions. These sessions are short, brief videos to try and inform you about exam techniques and study skills and methods that we recommend to increase your academic performance as an EBIT student. So this presentation is looking at exam technique in order to promote exam success. So when we look at exam success, it is important that you have both adequate exam preparation and exam performance. So this particular video will be looking at your exam performance. So what to do on the day to ensure that you have a successful exam. So before you arrive at the exam, it is important that you have a good night's sleep and a healthy meal so that you have enough energy to write the exam and to perform well. Also remember to arrive timelessly before the exam. So the university does have rules and regulations with exams that you do have to arrive in the university an hour before and arrive at the venue 45 minutes before. This will allow you to be at the venue, make sure that you're at the correct venue, and that you are able to manage your time well in getting to the venue so that you don't arrive late or anything. Then make sure you have everything required for the exam. So if you need a calculator or a ruler or different colors, make sure that you pack it the night before. On the morning of the exam, there's often a lot of stress and panic, and you don't want to, in the place of stress and panic, forget something that is required of the exam. So make sure that everything is packed ready for the next morning. Everything is in a clear plastic bag ready for you to write. Then also make sure that you pack things that will make the exam easier for you. So for example, if you're traveling a distance to get to university and then you're writing an exam, you might want to pack a snack or something to eat so that you don't get hungry while you're writing the exam. You want to make sure that you're fully focused on your exam and not distracted by things like hunger. Then also write legibly in your exam. Don't make your paper difficult to grade. You really want to highlight, this is my answer, this is the correct answer. So make sure that you've written legibly so that the marker can identify all the points of the question easily. And then also manage stress. Make sure you have deep, regular breathing pattern before you go into the exam. If you are struggling with stress, please book an appointment with a faculty advisor or attend one of our workshops on how to manage stress for exams. Then during the exam, make sure that when you're writing the exam, you manage your time well in the exam. So we recommend that you have a time-telling device, so a watch or any other device that's permitted into the exam, so that you can watch your time while you're writing. So the first step is to survey your exam paper, to look at the mark allocation as well as the number of questions that there are, so that you have an idea of how many questions and what the time you can allocate for each question will be. So questions that are weighted with more marks will be allocated more time. You don't want to go through a whole series of 5-mark questions, come to the end of the exam and realize that the last question was actually allocated for 20 marks and now you've run out of time. Once you've allocated time for each question, make sure you begin with the questions you know. This is because you'll be able to answer them quickly and they're guaranteed marks, which ensures that you won't run out of time at the end of the exam and not be able to put down the answers for the questions that you know. And it also helps you write them down quickly so that you are better able to allocate time for the questions that you don't know, because you may have finished the questions you know in a shorter amount of time, therefore having more time to deliberate about the questions that you might not know. And then make sure you work efficiently. If you're going to lose marks in the exam, make sure you lose marks for stuff you got wrong or stuff you don't know. Don't lose marks because you didn't attempt a question or because you didn't have enough time to answer the question. So when you're going through your paper to answer, make sure that you write down different triggers that will help you answer the question later. So for example, if you've made an acronym to remember a list of criteria, quickly write the acronym down so that when you do come to answer the question, you're able to quickly answer it from your acronym. Then make sure that you read the entire question carefully and you underline different important words that will tell you how to answer the question. This is particularly important for longer questions that may say, please list and explain. There's 2 points to that question then, so you need to make sure at the end that you refer back to the question to make sure that you've answered it fully, that you have listed the criteria and then explained them, that you didn't just list them and then move on to the next question. So make sure for long-ended questions that at the end of answering your question, you quickly go back to the question and make sure that you've answered all the components and that you have not deviated from your answer while you're answering, but that you've stayed on point to what the question's asking. Then again, don't worry if people finish before you. Rather focus and be present in the exam on what you are doing. At the end of your paper, make sure that you check to answer that you have answered all the questions. So go through your paper again and check through all the questions that you have attempted them, and then briefly read through them, making sure that you've answered them correctly. When you are writing the exam, make sure that you have the correct exam attitude. So focus on what you can do and get busy doing it. Surround yourself with positive self-talk. So you need to be telling to yourself, I can, and surrounding yourself with very positive affirmation that you are able to do it. And then don't get stuck in negative emotions, but rather be solution focused. So focus on what you can do. If there are things that you don't understand in the exam, rather focus on what you can do. And remember to keep perspective, that it is just one exam. So what happens with exams and semester tests is that they're scheduled directly after each other. You don't want one bad exam to derail you for the rest of your exam period. So make sure if one exam goes wrong, that you take a break, refresh yourself, make sure that you get into a positive frame of mind so that you can keep perspective and do well in the rest of your exam. Then again, with panic and stress can result in negative performance. So avoid conversations or environments that will induce panic and stress. Rather stay focused on what you can do and what you're going to do than be involved in panic and stress. And then deal effectively with personal and emotional concerns. So to create a worry list of things you're going through, if there's something that's emotionally draining, rather create a worry list and be solution focused on how to deal with that worry list, rather than constantly allow it to distract you from studying and distract you from performing in your exam. If you do need assistance with any of the above that's been mentioned, please book an appointment with a faculty student advisor. You're welcome to attend our workshops where we unpack these points that have been briefly touched on in depth, and you can also book a one-on-one appointment with us via our online booking system to ensure that you are getting the right assistance to make sure that during exams you are performing to the best of your ability. So good luck with your exam preparation, and we look forward to hearing of your good results.